is this Swift's chance. He gets up alongside Morris. Can he find a way through? Is he using the traffic to his advantage to try and find a way through on the Golf? It's Golf versus Mini, but the Golf wins out once again. Well done, Morris. Holds on.
Well, Morris was far more compromised than Nick Swift, but it was a case of just forcing his nose up the inside into the first part of Lavant, but that compromised him slightly for the second part of Lavant, and now we've got Nick Swift coming back at him, not quite close enough there to get the slipstream, so somehow, just somehow, Jim Morris has hung on. 22 seconds remaining on the clock. This is the final lap. They didn't quite squeak through fast enough to get round one more time, or did they? Through Woodcote they go. It's the Golf in front of the Mini. Time surely has run out for Nick Swift.
The traffic may well have slowed them down. 5 seconds, they make their way through the chicane. Will this be the final lap? But Morris has gone wide. Is that going to allow Swift to go through? He's on the grass. Is Swift going to nick this on the line? Is that on the line, or is that a checkered flag?
No, I didn't see the checkered flag. I think we're going on one more time. So wipe that smile off your face, Nick Swift, and keep the pedal to the floor. Oh, that's what you do anyhow. Jim Morris, I thought he was going to clip the end of the pit wall. He was so wide on the grass where the wall comes out just before pit in. So he's got to refocus and see what he can do. What lies up ahead, that could be the key to how they get to the end of this race.
That could have thrown it all away. I think the clock timed down to 0 just as they crossed the line. So we do indeed have this additional lap still before we get to the checkered. But for Nick Swift, it's working out at the moment. But can he keep that Golf behind him, who has led the majority of this race?
And what's happening next? Well, Lavant's corner's happening next, and there's a waved yellow flag I noticed at the side of the circuit there. I can see some tar marks. Someone's put it off down there. Might have been in the last lap or so, but for now, that's great news for Nick Swift. That defends his lead. He's only got 3 more corners to go.
I think there's a problem for the 36 Alfa Romeo. It's falling down the field. I'm not sure if it's a transponder, but you say there's a yellow flag. That might well be the reason. It's falling all the way down to 15th at the moment, so trouble there for the Alfa Romeo. But here comes the Golf, straight line speed through on the Mini. That was power. Back into the lead. Can he hold it? He made the mistake coming through the final chicane. He could well do it again. It'll be playing on his mind. He's got to try and keep it clean coming into the chicane. This is where he lost it all, or he could have lost it all. Morris is right up into the lead again. Can he find a way through? It's going to be over the line side by side, but I think the Golf just nicks it ahead of the Mini. Morris wins ahead of Swift, but what a battle.
In that red and white Austin Healey 104, you go a little bit wide over the curbs, you don't get the power down, and that is exactly what was the case for in that situation. And then driving on the grass and having a marker board, that's definitely slows you down somewhat. That's a 166, and
the Austin
unfortunate one of the 3 Austin Healeys in the race, one of the 4 Austin Healeys in the race. And there's Bobby Verdon-Rowe still going around, but clearly our pole starter has had big problems. 12th at the end of the opening lap, and there is a replay. Very lucky that Bobby Verdon-Rowe didn't get that join him, and he backed right off as it rejoined the circuit, crisscrossed, took a liking to the daffodils, but hopefully didn't hit anything other than the marker board. That was a big, big moment.
Yes, well, that was the car that I thought I saw. It picked up a bit of debris. Nicholas English at the wheel of that 166, and there he is, rather rallying around this Goodwood Motor Circuit, and well, fairly good job to keep it out of the tyre barriers there.
How can he find just that little bit more pace that he needs? How are the tyres feeling now, I wonder, because they've done a lot of laps.
Yeah, they've done a lot of laps, a lot of load, a lot of high-speed corners here, and they're all, I mean, tyres seem to be doing all right, Ben, because they've all set their personal best.
Somebody's made contact and thrown bodywork onto the track.
So I wonder if either they've made contact with the wall, because that's a lot of bodywork that's off there. So we might lose our fantastic battle. See a replay now.
Let's have a look at what happened here. Oh, it just flew off. The bodywork just flew off. The was that number 36 car, I think? Yeah, one of the Chevrons. That's the Nick Thompson, Sean McClurg car. Yeah, Chris Harris sharing that car with Chris Goodwin. He'll be taking it over at some point. So back to the 4th place battle now. The Lotus of Kubota sharing with Richard Bradley. And now under a bit of serious pressure from Olivier Gallant in the GT40. We saw him make a move earlier. Now he's going for the inside. Oh, thankfully Kubota saw him come just at the last moment.
Yeah, it looked like he went slightly tight, Kubota, into there. So ran a little bit wide. It's a very long corner there at Woodcote and tricky braking zone. But Olivier, yeah, he's not afraid of sticking his nose in, and he certainly did that there. So car looking very strong, but now we're going to see the replays. You see the Lotus slightly tighter, got a little bit out of shape on the brakes, and I think, yeah, it took his number 8 there, took the advantage, slotted it down the inside, and he just about managed to hold on to it on the exit. but it might all be changed soon because the pit lane opens in around about 3 minutes. We want to be smart here. Still 10 minutes left of the race. Having a little look down the inside into St Mary's one. Thinks better of it. Gets the car nicely positioned. Julian's getting a little bit sideways. So now this is what I expect he'll do. He'll head down towards Woodcote now. Get in the tow.
Oh, he's got very sideways. Huge moment for Andrew Jordan.
So into Levant corner, just really lost the race. I thought he'd be trying to wait to Goodwood, but clearly not. But yeah, there you go. Just need to try and be a little bit patient because now he's got to try and close the gap again. And that's allowed Josh Cook to go, right, OK, he's gone a little bit sideways here. I've still got a chance.
Let's have another look at this, Alex. I think he must have almost gone to full opposite lock here.
I think so. I think his light flashed before him and he thought, that's it, I've just thrown away potentially a win. Maybe he just didn't expect the closing speed of the car in front to be as great on the brakes, because obviously he is a chunk quicker, but that's the thing, racing against less experienced drivers.
From Alex Brundle. Let's see what the gap is this time. Just looking back at, bit of a slide there for Mark Drain, who took over the Steve Soper car, number 97.
Just about held it. I was waiting for him to turn around, but a great piece of driving there. And is that Jake Hill having another little look on the grass?
Yeah, I think that is Jake, because that is after the pit stops, isn't it? So, yeah, I think you're right. But the gap is coming down, Alice. Look, it's down to 3.9 seconds across the line. So Andrew's getting that a little bit closer.
Yeah, so I think it's only a matter of time now. Previous lap.
Coming into turn one, and he does. The Mini takes the lead, and the Golf GTI is fighting back. The Scirocco has to run out wide, so advantage Mini, and the Scirocco has to force back to fourth place as well as the other Mini gets itself moving. That's Rupert Death getting up into third.
Is it Death or is it the data post car of James Dorling? Either way, there's a Mini leading. That's the Patrick Motorsport livery with the inimitable Nick Swift, but the Golf is coming back. Jim Morris taking a look, but he's only going to be off at the outside as they get St Mary's, and it's in fact, you're quite right, 69. How sideways would you like? That was a big twitch followed by another onto the grass. You were quite right, it was Death, Rupert Death. He's bouncing, but he's keeping going. The Marshall and Fraser estate version of the Clubman Mini goes through with the Alpine Napolina race. But have a look at both sides, if you wish, of oh, dearie me, the 69 Mini. Rupert Death bouncing here, bouncing there, bouncing everywhere. But he did eventually get back onto the track in about 20th place. And all the good work has been undone.
We tried to rejoin there, but then thought better of it, and then just about managed to get 2 wheels, and then 4 wheels. And the clock has timed down, so this should be the final lap. As we watch the number 32 of Ray Mallock, who then gets onto the grass and has a spin around on the final lap. Is he going to lose the win? He does. I think the number 12 goes through. He spins round. The car has stopped on the final lap for Ray Mallock. Did he have to get out of the way of some traffic? Either way, a mistake has been made, and that has allowed Roach a clear path through.
Disaster, absolute disaster for Mallock, because he had a good 2. He's got going again, and because he's so far ahead of Tom Waterfield in P3, I think he will be all right for second. But what a disaster. I mean, we're hearing there could be a little bit of oil down somewhere. We've seen, was it the number 3 that had a little bit of a problem when they were raising their hands, unless they've dropped some oil. But it's going to be Roach, who's kept it calm and cool, coming home to take the win.
Well, that's what you have to do, isn't it? Through the chicane for one final time for Stuart Roach in the number 12 Formula Junior. The checkered flag should be waving for him. It does, and he takes the win in the Threlfall Cup. It was Ray Mallock's to have in the bag until the very final lap. Perhaps some more out on track, perhaps a mistake. I think there's already a little bit of a shaking at the head, but still a sterling drive, and both of them gapped everybody from third downwards, really. So he will come across the line to secure second place as he limps across.
And this could be a big battle between the top 3. Scott Carson with the initial advantage.
Yeah, he has indeed. As you say, it's all the TZ350s at the front. Carson, Cooper, then Jackson, and then the first 4-stroke Andy Hornby there.
Yeah, Andy Hornby, who started off.
Someone's right in the cross. Oh. Massive moment.
Let's just have a look at that big wobble. What happened here?
Oh, look, he is so lucky. He runs, he's in too hot, gets on the grass, the front tucks. You see it go against the lock stop, and
down to St Mary's now. He pulls over to the right-hand side to defend. And I was going to say that's brave. He's going to try around the outside, and he does.
These
Does he?
two
No.
are not giving an inch. Was there a bit of contact there, a bit of smoke with tyre-to-tyre contact perhaps? But everybody wants a podium at Goodwood, and Shane Brereton is desperate to take it off of Michael Gans. But what an absolutely fantastic battle. And while they have been fighting it out, that has allowed David Hart and Martin Stretton to head up the road in first and second, so perhaps they are safe for now as the clock counts down, and Stretton leads ahead of Hart. What can Gans do? He's in the number 3. Can he hold back Brereton? No, he can't. Brereton goes through, but can he hold it all together? He has to force out wide. He's on the grass again, and that's going to allow Gans through. Hart, meanwhile, is right onto the back of Brereton. The clock is going to time down, and I think Gans has just about got third, but up front then, after all that, it's Stretton in the 27 who wins the Salvadori Cup, just ahead of David Hart and Michael Gans in third, and Shane Brereton from the back in fourth. But my word, Alice Powell, that was some racing.
Got a bit of oversteer going into the chicane. That's allowed Hart now to close the gap even more. And look who's coming up behind, the number 49.
The two Lister Jaguars fighting out, but is this a change for the lead then? Stretton trying his might to keep in front. The second gap he had has come down and down and down to less than half a second. David Hart battling for all his might in that number 3 Lister Jaguar. And then he can't breathe for too long, because there is Michael Gans, and then there is Shane Brereton. But Brereton's progress seems to have been a little bit halted now that he's gone into the top 4. He's not coming through as quickly as we saw him do, well, the entire rest of the field. A reminder, he started last and is already up into 4th place.
Yeah, well, if he keeps it clean and the pace he's doing at the moment, for example, his last lap, 3 seconds faster than the leader, 3 seconds. So if he keeps this up, I mean, look, that just shows top 4 cars nose to tail going down this long straight. Who's going to be the bravest on the brakes? And we've got a back marker thrown in there as well. It's just out of shot. He's trying to go round the outside, nice and brave. Late on the brakes, he's going to run out of road. No, just about hold it. But the 49 is through into third.
And can he get any more positions? Can they make gain? But they've got traffic in front as well, and down into the chicane. That was tight between Shane Brereton and Michael Gans. Wow. But now the number 12 gets out of the way. David Cook in his Ferrari, but that could have been a lot worse. Stretton still leads in front of Hart, and then it's Brereton now up into the top 3, just scooting through on Gans, who's down to 4th. Fantastic racing.